Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another currently inked video. I have another 10 pens currently inked for this week. I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right is a Visconti Divina Metropolitan. This is the MIDI version in stacked celluloid. We have a Visconti, and this is the Corsani 90, long sold out. We have another Visconti here, and this is the Chatterley Luxuries exclusive. And we have another Visconti, and this is the Corsani Octagonal. We have a Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath, a Taccia Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath. We have a Visconti, and this is the Belgica. We have a Twico Seishu Dragon in red, a Visconti Opera Master, and this is the Antarctica, and then a Visconti Opera Master in the Golden Dust. So these first four pens are pens that I haven't really inked up for some time, and I've been trying to go back and ink up some of these pens. This is a beautiful stacked celluloid, and although I'm not a fan of the smaller MIDI or mini versions, as I would call them, these are a MIDI size, is essentially, or a medium size is what Visconti will call them, because they are shorter, they are thinner. However, this is a beautiful specimen of that stacked celluloid with silver rods running around the body and the cap. I really do like this. It comes with a captured converter, which you basically pull out here and you twist and turn. The MIDI versions of the original Divinas here, the MIDI version, comes with a number 5 size nib. This is a broad nib that I have on this one. I do like how it writes. It writes quite wet, and like a traditional Western broad. You can post the cap, and typically I do post. I know I say that I don't post my caps that often, but this is a pen I do post my cap on. It's slightly back weighted, but because of the size, it's not too bad for me. I do find the section is a little bit more on the thinner side for me. I typically prefer more thicker sections. With a thinner section and a shorter pen, I will typically death grip the pen, and I'm just going to turn that around a bit to try and show off a little bit more of that stacked celluloid there on that pen. But yeah, I will typically death grip the pen if it's a thinner section and a shorter pen. It's just one of these things that I do. I don't realize I'm doing it until I've done it, and it's just one of those things. I do need to try and not death grip them a little bit more. I don't know why I death grip them. I know a lot of people say this the opposite as well, that with a thicker section or a longer pen or a heavier pen, they death grip it. For me, it's the opposite way round. And I know for quite a few of you as well, it's the opposite way, or the same way that I have as well. The next pen here, so glad I managed to pick this up. This is a beautiful pen. This is a Visconti, and it's a Homo sapiens, and you'll see here it says Corsani, and it's the 90. It's a beautiful pen. So glad that I managed to buy this before it sold out, and it's a beautiful pen. I did get it with a medium nib originally, and I did later on swap it out in when I was liking the 1.3mm 23 cat palladium stub nibs, and I do love writing with it. I just haven't written with it a lot lately. It is a Paravac filler. It is a single reservoir, I believe, so around about 1.5 milliliters of ink. You can post the cap there as well, and if I just post it there, you'll see the beauty of that stacked celluloid. Really is beautiful. But you won't always see the beauty of this all the way around the pen. There will be dark areas. Before this, Visconti did make a pen that was called the Wall Street, and they did actually suggest that it was the Wall Street skyline, where you see all of the windows lit up in the skyscrapers, and I have to say it kind of does look like that. But uh, beautiful stacked celluloid. It's really, I think, what started me more down the Visconti route, because they, along with only a few other manufacturers in modern day terms, have stacked celluloid. Parker, in their vintage, had stacked celluloid. Montegrappa also have some stacked celluloid, but quite different, and I have a few of those pens as well. The next pen is a pen I picked up a few years ago, and you can see that here, just if I align again that. This is an octagonal pen. This is a pen from Chatterley Luxuries, and there was the City and the Southwest, and this was the City model. Beautiful pen. I remember back a number of years prior to that, I thought an octagonal pen would not be comfortable, and I think my first octagonal pen was a Brunelleschi, and then I liked it so much that I had to get another one. But this is, again, another beautiful pen. This does have the newer 18 karat gold. It's a medium nib there. Again, these will post. They are Powervac filler. Beautiful celluloid, really, really stunning pens. So, and with the Visconti hook safe lock mechanism, you can essentially line up that pattern if you wanted to. I didn't line up too well there, did I? Actually, I think it probably, there you go. Line up that pattern a little bit better, and it does look a lot better. Prior to that one, though, I bought this one, and this one is the Visconti Corsani, the octagonal, and it's although you'll see there octagonal is misspelt, the 90 is the anniversary for Stilograph Corsani, which is also where the Corsani 90 came from there. And they made this second pen with Visconti. Again, beautiful stacked celluloid there. Unfortunately, there were only, I think it was 70-ish pens made. Can I actually, sorry, 100 there. 100 made. 73 were unfortunately stolen. So I was able to pick this up before the store raid at Stilograph Corsani in Rome, and myself and a close friend picked up a pen directly from Stefano way before that. I think it was about three or 4 months beforehand. So I was very lucky to get this pen when I did. I did buy it, and very, very nice pen. This I did get with a broad nib, and I wanted to try a broad nib, and because I had a broad nib in this one, and I liked it a lot, I decided I would get a broad nib. And again, you can post these caps as well. It is a Powervac filling pen as well, and if I get that, do it that way. You'll see some of that stacked celluloid there. Very beautiful pen. I am a sucker for stacked celluloid, and also Varden as well. And the next two are Varden pens. It's stripes of abalone shell, which is a lot thicker than these ones are in the stacked celluloid. But this one is the Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath, and it has crushed quail's eggs and abalone strips cut out. They glue it to an ebonite body, Urushi lacquer over the top. It's a beautiful work of art, and you can just see that abalone shell there. Really, really sparkle. This one I managed to eventually get with a broad nib. I had ordered this previously from another retailer. It was Iguana Cell with a medium nib, and they sent me a very cheap Taccia brown pen. which was about about a quarter of the price, I think it was. And I contacted them back and said, look, this is not the pen that I ordered. What are you doing? They apologised and then said, oh, the pen that you ordered is sold out now. Well, okay, that's fine, but why are you sending me a different pen? They could get another one, but it was going to take a few weeks. And I said, no, give me my money back. I spoke to Bryant at Chatterley. He had one of these, and I said, look, could we do a deal here? And he said, definitely. And so Bryant had my back on this one. You can post the cap there, as I showed you. It will post. It's not a pen that I would normally post. So it's just one of those things. I have heard from a lot of people more recently that they've not had issues with Iguana Cell in Spain. I've also heard from a lot of people that have had issues with Iguana Cell in Spain. So it seems to be a mixed bag of issues, and a lot of time it's the wrong nib, or it could just be the wrong pen. And in this case, it was the wrong pen. So I'm so glad that I was able to contact Bryant. I really wish I'd actually gone with Bryant to start with, but going from what I'd originally ordered, which was a medium nib, to what this is a broad nib, I decided actually maybe I've made a mistake here. Maybe, just maybe, I should go for the broad. So I went with the broad, and I really love it. The next pen that I wasn't going to buy, that actually went to market about 6 months after I bought this one, was the Empress edition. And this is a much longer and girthier pen. Has this black enameling and the quail's eggs there on that clip as well. You can see all the quail's eggs and the abalone stripes there. And also, if I unscrew, the section is much, much wider because it houses a number 8 size Sailor King pen nib made by Sailor for Taccia. It's only an 18 karat gold. It's not a 21 karat gold. These two pens are cartridge converters. These are all, these three are Powervacs, and this one is a captured converter. You can post the cap, but you've got to be a bit careful. It won't post deeply. It's not really, I'd say, designed to post on this one. But beautiful pen, and I love it to death. And that is a medium nib, and I do like that medium. Do I wish I'd actually gone with a medium on this one? Not really. I do like the broad, and I am a fan of both of those nibs. Would I now go for a medium? I probably wouldn't. I probably still would have gone with a broad on this one and a medium on this one. It's just I had the option on both. Well, I had the option here to go with a medium or broad. I didn't have the option on this one. It only came in a medium because I bought it second hand on eBay, and so I didn't have the choice of nibs there. But I'm glad it did come with a medium nib because I'm liking that. The next pen here is the Visconti Belgica. I've had this inked up for a couple of weeks, and this is a beautiful overlay pen. I love it. I love it a lot. I hadn't written with it this year until a couple of weeks ago. You can see there that it says 175, and this is number 25, and it says Belgica there. And you can see the lion crest. Beautiful pen. I really do like this. Has an ink window. It's a Powervac filler as well. Double reservoir. This has the 18 karat gold nib. It's a broad nib. Can you post the cap? Yes, you can. But it doesn't post deeply. It doesn't post over the overlay there. So it is a long, long pen. But you can post the cap if you so wish. And I know a lot of people prefer to post their caps, and that's perfectly fine. I know I used to when I started out in the hobby. It's something that I've got a little bit less as a requirement for now. The next pen inked up here is the Twico Seishu Dragon in red. I've got a green one as well. You'll see here that the eyes have abalone shell, so they sparkle almost like a demon. It's a beautiful red dragon. It's a ebonite body of a pen with this maquille painted on and then Urushi lacquered over the top. You've got this beautiful fireball there. You also have some smoke or wind there as well. This really is a stunning, stunning pen. So very glad that I managed to not only pick this one up, but also the green one up as well. This is a 14 karat gold Yovo number 6 nib. It's a medium nib. You can't post the cap on it. It just isn't designed to do so. But it's a beautiful pen. And honestly, like if I show you in the size of my hand again, you don't honestly need to post that cap. It's unless you have massively humongous hands, you shouldn't need to post the cap on that. But some people I know prefer to. The next pen here is the Visconti Opera Master Antarctica. I kind of always wanted the Polynesia, which is a little bit more of a green version of this. But when I saw this one come out, this was the one I really wanted. So this is the Antarctica. Beautiful, beautiful specimen there of white swirls around a blue, sort of semi-translucent body there. Brilliant, brilliant pen. I do like this a lot, and I will show you here. It comes with a 18 karat gold medium nib there. It's a newer nib from Visconti. Can you post the cap? Yes, you can. But with all Opera Masters, they are a bit back weighted. 888 of these, and I got number 37 of this. So that in itself is quite nice. Now, if you want a lot of pens that are in the sort of sub 1000 limited edition range, a lot of these do not sell out straight away. They might appear to sell out, but they are normally made in batches of 250, or at least the initial batch is 250. So these will probably be made over 5 to 10 years. But the first batch will be around 250, subsequent batches maybe 150. So if you see a pen that says it's a limited edition one of 888, then the chances are you will still be able to get that pen. It's just that you have to wait for the next production run. So they don't make all 888 in one go. Now, if you're talking about a pen that it is 188 or less, then typically most manufacturers will do. So you do, on those pens, have to be quick on them. But on the 888 ones, you can probably pick these up for years to come. And then the last pen here is the Visconti Opera Master, and this is a Golden Dust. And this one, you'll see there, is a limited edition one of 60. This is number 3. I managed to pick this up from a previous owner on eBay. Very glad that I did. It's a power vac, it's a double reservoir. The older screw threads, not the hook safe lock, and an older 23 karat palladium fine nib on that. Beautiful pen. You can post the cap as well. And very glad that I added that to my collection. There's a lot of pens that I probably wouldn't sell, and this is probably one of them. I just like the finish on it so much. But there are different kinds of will I sell this pen. Like, will I sell the pen because I just want to release some of the cash I have invested in pens to buy some more pens, possibly. Will I sell the pen because I need the money? Probably. So there are different, and I don't need either, but I'm just showing you that there are different reasons for selling pens. Maybe you just don't use the pen that much. So sometimes you can sell a pen, but there are a lot of pens in my collection that I will probably say that I would never sell unless I absolutely had to. Like if I let's say I couldn't work for the next 40 years and I needed some kind of income, then yes, I probably would sell quite a lot of my pens, but hopefully I'm not at that stage yet, and hopefully I will never be at that stage, and hopefully I will just enjoy the pens for the rest of my life. So but everybody, has a different life. So you don't know which life you've been dealt with until you've been dealt with it. So some people are more fortunate than others, and some are less fortunate. So that's my 10 pens currently inked up this week. I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So the first pen here inked up this week is the Visconti Divina Metropolitan. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And as I said, this is a broad nib. So it's going to be quite wet. And I have to say that this broad nib, if all of the Metropolitans wrote like this, I'd probably actually buy a few more if I could in the stacked celluloid. So this is the Visconti Divina Metropolitan. And it's a broad, and it's a 23 cat palladium nib. And then the ink in here is diamine amaranth, and that it's an ink that I've always used in this pen, and it's an ink that I like as well. It's quite a nice sort of purplish red or reddish purple, and I just love how fluid or how lubricated that ink is versus the wet nib as well. Just a perfect combination there. The next pen here inked up is the Visconti Corsani 90. And we'll do an ink swatch here. This is a 1.3mm stub nib, so very, very wet writing nib. It's a nib that I still love. So this is the Visconti, and it's the Corsani 90. And it is a 1.3mm 23 cat palladium stub nib. And then the ink in here is a diamine majestic purple, and this is an ink that I've almost dedicated to this pen. I think the first few times I inked it up, I put a different ink in there, but actually, was it that one? I'm just thinking. No, I think it was the Wall Street actually that I had. That one I have pretty much always used diamine majestic purple on. Really, really beautiful, beautiful color ink. The next pen here is the Visconti Chatterley Luxuries City. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And I don't write with black inks all that often. I think, need to write with black inks more. So this is the Visconti Chatterley Luxuries, and it is the City, and this has a medium, and I'm just double checking, it is an newer 18 cat gold nib from Visconti, the in-house nib. And then the ink in here is Visconti black, which I do think is a very nice black ink. So if you want a fairly dark black ink, then I definitely say that is one to go for. The next pen inked up is this one. It's a Visconti Corsani 90 octagonal. So we'll do another ink swatch here. Now, this one I did get in a broad nib, as I mentioned. This I like as well. It's a nice writing nib for sure. And we'll do this as a Visconti, and it's the Corsani octagonal. But this was one of the pens that had a lot stolen, 73 stolen in the burglary at Corsani, Stilograph Corsani in Rome. So this is a broad, and it's the older 23 cat palladium nib, because they hadn't gone back to gold yet, in-house nib. And then the ink in here again is Visconti black, but you can see here that so far this is looking a little bit more, I'd say a little bit more on the charcoal side in that nib, whereas the previous nib it was a little bit more darker black, I would say, almost a midnight black. The next pen inked up is the Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath. So we'll do another ink swatch. And this is a broad, but it's an Asian broad, which typically works out to be a little bit more towards a Western medium. Because this Taccia, the nibs are made by Sailor. So this is a Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath. And it is a broad, and it's an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Pelican, Edelstein, Topaz, which is one of my favourite sort of turquoisey cerulean coloured inks that I typically go to, and I always have it inked up in that pen. The next pen here is the Taccia Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath. And when I got this, I really wanted to ink it up with the same Pelican Edelstein Topaz, but I decided against it. I was thinking, should I go for a red? Should I go for a green? And I went for green because there's a lot of green in the abalone strips here. Difficult to go with white because you don't normally get white fountain pen ink. But this is the Taccia Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath. And this is a medium this time. Again, though, an 18 cat gold nib, but it's a King of Pen nib, not a 21 cat gold that normally Sailor would make for themselves. They, at the moment, they only do the 18 cat gold versions of this, not a 21 cat gold for other manufacturers. I don't know why, but I'm guessing that's their prerogative. So, for whatever reason, they only do that at this moment in time. The ink in here is Diamine Ultra Green. I think a few times I've actually called it Ultimate Green. I think it's a really nice mid green. It's typically, if somebody said green, that's the kind of green that I would be thinking of. If you said light green, I'd probably say something like maybe towards Diamine Meadow or Diamine Apple Glory, most likely. The next pen inked up is the Visconti Belgica. So we'll do an ink swatch here, and I'm going to have to prime this a little bit. So let's try again, shall we? So this is the Visconti Belgica, and this has a lovely broad nib on it, which I still think writes like a double broad. So this is the Visconti Belgica, and it's a broad, technically a broad, but I think more of a double broad, and it's the older 18 cat gold nibs from Visconti and Bock, and then the ink in here is KWZ, and it's Hawaii Blue. There you go. But that is a very nice ink, and still would prefer it was a tad lighter, but it is unfortunately that color, and I think if I want lighter, I can go with a turquoisey colored ink. The next pen inked up is the Twico Seishu Dragon in red. So we'll do another ink swatch here. And I think I'm going to probably look at inking up the green one. Maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll live on the wild side. So this is the Twico Seishu Dragon. Oh, that's where my hand has been resting. It's a very hot summer's day, and I was only thinking earlier on I should probably put a hand protector under my hand here, because I'm going to possibly struggle on some of these. So it's Dragon in red. It's a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold Yovo nib. And then the ink in here is KWZ Thief's Red, which is a beautiful colour. But unfortunately, in the summer months, I typically do use a hand protector, and I've tried lots of different things. I've tried a plastic sheet, like a rigid plastic sheet. I've tried a plastic folder sheet, which is a lot thinner. I have tried paper. I've tried cardboard. And the thing that typically works better for me is that if I'm writing on A4, if I'm writing a letter or like this, I will actually put a glossy postcard, paper side down, but with the glossy side up, and then my hand will actually stick to the postcard, and I can lift it up and just keep like lifting as I write, and that pretty much works for me. I don't know, like you could probably use blotting paper as well. You could use a lot of different things, but it's what works for you. The next pen inked up is the Visconti Opera Master Antarctica. So we'll do another ink swatch here. And I think I am just slightly off camera here, so I'll do this quickly. But so that nice colour ink here. So this is the Visconti Opera Master, and it's the Antarctica. And I always do find that this nib feels a little bit more architect type grind. The nib is a medium, and it's the newer 18 karat gold nib, in-house nib from Visconti. It just feels like more of an Antarctica. No, more of a sort of almost like an architect nib is what I'm trying to say. The ink in here is Visconti Turquoise, which is a lovely coloured ink, and one that I am loving a lot. There's two inks I think that I have used, which I like. And then the last pen inked up this week is Visconti Opera Master Golden Dust. So we'll do another ink swatch on this. And this is a fine nib, but it does write nice and wet. So this is the Visconti Opera Master Golden Dust. And it's a fine, and I'm just going to look. It is 23 karat palladium nib. I always think this is an 18 for some reason, 18 karat gold nib for some reason. And then the ink in here is diamine ochre, which is a beautiful brown ink. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. We have a Visconti Divina Metropolitan in a broad 23 karat palladium nib, inked up with diamine amaranth. We have a Visconti Corsani 90 in a 1.3mm 23 karat palladium stub nib. We have a Visconti Chatterley Luxuries City in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Visconti Black. We have a Visconti Corsani Octagonal in a broad 23 karat palladium nib, inked up with Visconti Black. But you can see this a little bit more of a charcoal colour in the broader nib. We have a Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath in a broad 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Pelican Edelstein Topaz. We have a Taccia Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Ultra Green. We have a Visconti Belgica in a broad 18 karat gold nib inked up with KWZ Hawaii Blue. We have a Twico Seishu Dragon in red in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with KWZ Thief's Red. We have a Visconti Opera Master Antarctica in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Visconti Turquoise. And then we have a Visconti Opera Master Golden Dust in a fine 23 karat palladium nib inked up with Diamine Ochre. So there you have it. That's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.